Tune in and see how teens grow and how they deal with everyday struggles. Because adults and teens, we have to work together, and we really have to learn from one another. So if you're looking for inspiration, we'll give you the content that you need. So adults and teens will help you on whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, podcast show, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, podcast show.
What's up, everybody? We back in the building, episode 30, but we're not at the studio today. We're out in Cleveland, Texas. Yes, that's what I said. Cleveland, what, Bailey?
Cleveland, Texas.
We got a cowboy hat on. Man, we are doing some great things with a great person today, guys. I am Sheldon Thurgood.
And I'm Bailey Seymour, episode 30.
Please give a welcome today for one of the amazing horse trainers in the state of Texas. Well, you know what? Let's go beyond that. Where, man?
The country.
The country. Can we go further than that?
The world.
The world. Ladies and gentlemen, horses, ponies, chickens. Put your hands together for
Mr. Darrell. Gardner.
Yeah, in the building, man.
Thank y'all for having me, man. Thank y'all for coming out. I really appreciate it.
Look, guys,
it's really beautiful out here.
Really beautiful out here. We out in like a barn area. We'll show y'all later. But man, this is an amazing way. We're getting out of the studio today, doing some great things with a great person. Man, me and Bailey, we took a trip, man.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
I was scared at first, but
yeah.
we out here now.
We out here, took a little trip, and we're glad to be here. So our special guest is here, man. Can you tell the audience about yourself?
Yes. So I'm Darrell Gardner. I'm a horse trainer. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. I moved here about 4 or 5 years ago to Texas. Started off in the Bryan College Station area, then moved to Pearland. Now I'm here in Cleveland. But over the years of being here, my business grown. I've got a good name for myself. Been able to do a lot, meet a lot of people. Same way I met Bailey. I went to a speaking engagement I was doing, and I met him there, and we've been keeping in contact through social media and stuff like that. And that's kind of this deal, how I'm here, what I'm doing here with these guys. And I gotta say why I'm talking to y'all as well. I just want to honor this kid. He's a great kid. He got a lot of potential. He's doing a lot of things as well, so y'all can follow him on all his social media platforms. But I'm really excited about this interview and this opportunity. I really appreciate y'all coming. It says a lot.
Man, we appreciate you. So First question, man, how did you get involved in training horses?
So it's funny. I laugh every time I have to tell a story real quick. Horses wasn't my plan. Horses wasn't part of my life. I know it looks like I've been dealing with horses all my life, but I haven't. I was real big on sports. I wanted to be a pro athlete, and I had a good journey with that, and that's how I got into horses. But I really say it's God's plan. It wasn't mine. My aunt met a guy when I was about 16, maybe a little bit younger, and he had horses. And I went to the barn, didn't like the horses, didn't want nothing to do with the horses, but I would clean stalls, little stuff like that. Make $5, $10 at the time when I was that age, and you know, that was a lot of money. So I got into horses like that, and then I just kind of took the journey and went with it afterwards and started playing sports. After the sports, probably like my mid-20s, I had to do something else. The sports didn't work out for me, so something just said train horses. And I got into training horses and started trying to find what I could find, trying to learn what I could learn, and just grew from there.
And here you are, right?
Yeah, here I am.
That's cool. So when you say you played sports, what sports? I just want to ask.
So I played baseball, played football, ran track. Overall, football was my favorite sport. Football was that deal where I was one of those kids that grew up and that was my way out. I just knew I was going to be a pro football player. And I got real close. I had a few private pro workouts and it didn't pan out. It was just due to I felt like I ran out of time, and that wasn't what God had planned for my life. And what I did and how I got there, I took it as an accomplishment, and I was happy about it. And it just was time for me to find something else to do with my life, and horses was it.
Right. That's cool, man. So what is your typical day like here, man, on this huge, amazing barn of yours, man? What do you usually do?
So typically, man, it's a day you try to go by schedule, but it don't happen that way. But normally I wake up, I get up at about 6, 7 o'clock, and walk down to the barn. From here, I walk to the barn, go feed, get them about an hour to eat, clean stalls, go through my little routine of what horses I'm gonna let out, what horses I'm gonna keep in and work that day, get them saddled, start riding, doing different things like that, and I'll show you guys that once we go over to the barn.
He said he's gonna show us, guys, so you know we gonna act. You already know what we do. We do our entertainment, but you gotta stay tuned to that. Carry on.
So yeah, I'm gonna kind of show y'all my process I go through as far as the training process with the horses, what I do, what I use, why I use it. And that's my typical day-to-day. So and always in between, you got stuff that come up. You might have to run and do something. I might have to run to the store, get feed or something like that. But the typical day-to-day is just getting up and doing what I do every day and doing what I love to do. So it makes things real easy when, you can wake up and just walk outside and be doing something you love to do.
And I think that's would you say, Bailey, too, like the main thing? Because we always talk about like that passion of doing things that we love to do, and when he said wake up and just wake up to something like he just loved to do, wake up and just walk into it. So he always have a smile on his face. He's always happy to do great things. I mean, come on, man, who could say they can just wake up in something they just have a passion for,
Right, and it's not. We're not saying that it's easy, because I know you have to do like a lot of just taking care of this area, but it's fun and something that you're really passionate about. So.
It is. It gives you a sense of peace.
Right.
And what I like about it, and what a lot of people don't realize about being happy and loving what you do, is it makes you want to do more. It makes you see more. You have a better vision. You're able to focus more, I would say. Because a lot of people, I feel like, get distracted or have issues because they worry about so much if they're not happy in the situation that they're in. They're so much trying to figure out how to get out of it that they can't get out of it, because you tend to keep yourself stuck trying to figure out this idea, that idea, versus if you just really focus on something to make your happiness come or make that dream come true, that you're trying to accomplish. It plays a big part, I believe so. That's just my take on it.
Right.
All right. So, next question: what are the misconceptions of owning a horse?
First of all, that people think they could just buy one and get on and think it's gonna be what they thought it was. Horses is a deal, man. It's kind of like being an athlete, just because you can pick up the ball and throw it, that doesn't mean you're gonna be Tom Brady. Right. So it's kind of like that deal where you get into it or you see it, you gotta put in the work to get that enjoyment and get that peace out of it, just like you would do with anything else that you want to do. Right. A lot of people just feel like, hey, if I buy something, it's gonna work. Yeah, it might work, but you still gotta, that's like a bike or a car. We drive, but how do you learn? When you gotta get in it, you gotta learn how to drive it. And even though it's something you want, but you gotta learn how to take care of it. You gotta learn how to care for it. You gotta learn how to make sure everything good on your side, his side, to make everything work together. And that's the same way with the horses. A lot of people just be like, oh, I want a horse, but don't think about the responsibility. Of feeding it, caring for it, being able to get somebody to come do the farrier work, and that's considered getting their feet done, bringing them to the vet, getting their shots. Like, it's a responsibility. Right. And a lot of people, they look at the enjoyment of what they see of somebody that they might see ride one or just have one running and the hair blowing, and they're like, oh, I want to do that too. Mm-hmm. But then you get there and it's like, they don't see the work behind it. Yeah. So I would say that got to be the biggest misperception with it. Like just thinking that you can walk out there and just do it, you know.
How much it costs for a horse to buy one, to purchase one?
Oh wait, I already know it's gonna be expensive.
It's really not expensive. It varies because a lot of people believe that the more money you spend, the better horse you get or the better things work out, and it don't work that way because you know you got horses that are cheap that are good, you got horses that are expensive that are good, and you got some that are expensive and not worth a dime. Just honestly, so it's kind of just that thing where you kind of, when you go into it for that to figure out expenses, get with somebody that know, and they can kind of, you know, get that help to get guided in the right direction versus just walking out there and buying something and you don't know what you're buying or what you're getting. But as far as the expense of it is, I say it's pretty fair, but it's just like the everyday world. You know, stuff go up, prices change. So you kind of got to be prepared if that's something you want to do. You know?
Okay. So I know you have a couple of horses. Like, what are the things that you have to do in order to like take care of the horse like this on a daily basis?
So outside of course, feeding, you know, your daily feeding them in the morning. My horses, I normally feed them twice a day. They eat in the morning, they eat in the evening. They eat at normal like 6 to 7 and at 5 o'clock. That's their 2 meals. They get feed, they get hay. Your regular upkeep outside of feeding is getting a farrier work done. Some people get on the 6-week program. Some people, it just depends on how the feet, you know, the horse feet grow. Some grow fast, some grow pretty even. You got to stay consistent with that. You stay consistent with your vet, your vet work for shots, and that's yearly. You do that, you know, yearly. You get a Coggins on them, which is they test to basically say they negative blood-wise to anything. And then you get a different type of shots for them, which is called vaccinations. They get that every year. And then from there, that's pretty much it. You just apply that, stay in your rotation of feeding, then stay in your rotation of getting your vaccinations yearly and consistently. And hopefully your horse don't have body issues or stuff like that, but as well, they could get chiropractor work and stuff like that as well for horses. So, you know, you can do that daily as well, every couple of months. Get them checked, make sure their body good. Same way you'll treat yourself. And that's pretty much the typical thing of taking care of them.
How do you know, this is kind of off the record, how do you know when your horse is like excited to see you? Like when you see a dog and you see that tail wagging?
Most of them, they talk a little bit. They kind of make their little sounds, you know, when they see you coming. They raise a little energy and stuff like that. And then you got your sign where if you see one getting to where they kind of sick, they tend to move around real slow. You know, their eyes will get real heavy. Typically, if they lay down a lot, because horses don't lay down a lot, if they lay down a lot, that's a sign of something going on with them personally, where you might want to check them and, you know, kind of get on it and make sure they're okay, because if they're doing that a lot, something's going on with them.
And this is one of my favorite questions, because I need to know this, because we're going to be going out there riding those horses, y'all. We going out there, so I need to know if a horse like me, like I know, like we have those police horses at our job, and they look like, man, if you step up to me, I'm just gonna hit you with the head real quick. So some of them horses, I don't know, you just can't sense them. You don't know if they're like, want you to pedal? Like, don't touch me.
Never stand behind the horse.
Don't stand behind the horse.
Yeah,
you know,
it's kind of hard to read them like that if you're new to them. But you just kind of go with that attitude to want to pet them, want to be loving, have like that caring attitude when you go to deal with them, where it kind of helps you feel a little comfortable about it. So you just kind of go at it. They somewhat give you signs if they want to be mean, and you got some that can hide it. You know, like saying where if you got a dog that's aggressive and he might not never bark or might not never do nothing but just bite you. You know, but typically the signs with horses, they tend to lay their ears back, or they'll switch their tail a lot, like and kind of give you a little face look, you know, like, hey. Like,
see, those are signs I need to know. Those are the signs I need to know. So that was kind of off the record, but back to the point. How are you using your horses to impact the community?
So pretty much, me, I would say using mine. I done been invited to different little schools for like open house and stuff like that with the horses. Due through people finding out about me on social media, and they'll call me and ask me to come to their school or something like that. But as far as impacting, I mean, helping the community with the horses, it's just kind of like putting them out there. And I think through social media, that's my biggest platform right now, is just getting stuff out there. What all you can do with a horse, how you can enjoy them. And I try to bring where if I go to an event or a trail ride, rodeo, so forth, so on, whatever it may be, I kind of do little tricks with my horses. My horses, I teach them certain little things, so I might make them lay down and people be impressed and like, oh, that's cool, you know how you do it.
I saw that in one of the videos.
Yeah,
it was like this. I was like, oh, what's wrong with this?
For like the little kids and stuff. And then sometime it's like one of those things where I get lazy, so I teach them that trick and it kind of benefits me later down the line, and they just think it's cool and I'm being lazy sometimes. But far as the community, man, I just wanna make it where us as a whole, even our race as well, know it's other things than sports and other things that you could do that we can do with animals, horses, dogs, whatever it may be. Horses is just a big thing for me, and it's just what I want to put out there and let people know, like, hey, like, y'all could mess with these horses as well. This, you know,
that's a message.
Yeah. So that's kind of why I do a lot that I do, and a lot with the horses. I just feel like I reach them through social media wise. You know, everything I do and do training wise on social media is for the public to help them.
Absolutely.
So, you know, that's one part of my giving back.
That's awesome, man. I mean, I just, everything that you said, man, is just so incredible. You just expanded a whole different widespread of things that now I'm liking to want to, deal with horses now, man. I feel like, okay, let me add that.
Cool, man.
Add that. Baby, let's get a horse. Now put whatever it takes on that podcast horse.
Yeah. Well, you can do that too.
Well, nothing. We gonna get a horse.
We gonna get a horse?
Yeah.
We?
It's we. See how he be doing me, y'all? He always just we in this.
Look, you gonna take care of it, though.
We gonna take care of it. He just told us how to take care. We gonna be responsible for that horse.
Okay.
And then I tell you, I do the cleanup sometime, but you go first on the cleanup, and then we'll change. Guys, we gotta wrap it up. I know we're having a good time here. We're gonna have to wrap it up. Episode 30. Look, thank you for coming to the show, or us coming to your house, coming to Cleveland. Man, we was scared, but we made it, guys. We made it out here in Cleveland, Texas. We appreciate y'all tuning in to Whatever It Takes podcast, episode 30. I'm Shell the Third, dude. Until next time.